This is a topic that stinks because there's a lot of data behind it this year and a lot of the eye test and we get tons of questions about it. I saw people talking about it before we even hopped in here. Uh, is Ohtani on clutch this year? Not in his career because his career numbers say absolutely otherwise. But this year, is he an unclutch guy?
He has been. I don't know if
Mhm.
he actually is in clutch, and I don't know how much stock I actually put into clutch. We can debate that one all day. So there might be something to it. I think he might be expanding a little more and chasing, and maybe he needs to just start trying to put the ball in play a little more instead of swinging as hard as he can every time. But then he comes up and he hits a 3-run homer in some situations, and you're like, yep, that's why he's swinging hard every time. So
Yeah.
it's like kind of the same thing with the postseason Kershaw stuff we were just talking about. There's complicated nuance in all of these things, and this year Ohtani has been more unclutch than he has been clutch, but it wouldn't
Mhm.
shock me if that changes in the next like day, or if he goes
Sure.
on a tear and just drives into everyone that's on base here for like 2 weeks or something, and then his season numbers just look fantastic. So yeah, there's a lot that goes into all these things, and who knows.
Yeah, and I see people talking about him expanding, and there's a lot to that. Um, he's getting pitched very tough, but he's one of the best in the world. This year, his numbers with runners in scoring position. This was heading into today. He's got a 93 WRC plus with runners in scoring position. Uh, for for the sake of where we're at um, in the show, let's see. His slash overall 300, 388 on base, 617 slug. This is before today. With runners in scoring position on the year, this is prior to today. I don't have it. Uh, he has a 717 OPS. So he's definitely a different guy. He's definitely he's a different hitter up there. He's not striking out, but he's definitely expanding. They're definitely peppering out of the zone. You saw him earlier in the game, absolutely just expand and pop a ball out. It's been noticeable. I think that'll regulate and that'll figure itself out once we see some lineup regularity. But he's pressing. He's still doing it. This is something we talked about earlier in the year. It's definitely crept back up as of late. I know we just got a super chat. Somebody tossed that in there. Rise indeed. But his last 14 games, I'll have to check these. Um, 196 batting average, 1156, 27 left on base. Um, where are you kind of at with Shohei Ohtani?
I think he's always been a very streaky hitter, and when he's going great, he's going to hit 10 homers in a week, and when he's going cold, you see stuff like this. I
Mm-hmm.
think I kind of talked about this on our last show. I think with Shohei, it's every hitter in baseball is going to be streaky, but
Yeah.
with Shohei, we expect so much from him. We expect greatness every single time he comes to the plate, that when he goes into a cold stretch, like that gets so inflated in our minds because like like I said this the same last time too. When Teoscar comes up, we expect a lot from him, but we also know he's going to strike out a good
Yeah.
amount. We know he's going to go in his cold streaks too and stuff like that. But we just always expect so much from Shohei. And it seems like every single time he doesn't get a hit, you're like, what went wrong? What happened there? He didn't hit a homer. He didn't hit a triple. He didn't double. Like, it puts him in a bad spot being so great and having people expect so much from you. But also at the same time, like recently, he hasn't been good. And I don't think that's going to last. I think he's going to break out of that pretty soon here for sure at some point. I don't know when it's going to come, but I would bet a lot that he's going to figure it out and start producing really well again. And yeah, I think there's a lot that goes into this one as well. Like
Yeah.
he's such a good player, and we just have such high
It's
expectations for him.
yeah, this year has been in kind of an outlier year for him. Aside from the 2020 season, going back the last since 2021 with runners in scoring position, I'll start there. OPS wise, 1165, 1213. He one dotted last year, 1078 OPS last year, and then 717 coming in two today with runners in scoring position. So it's definitely something like numbers that have fallen considerably. Something that can regulate because of back of the baseball card? Absolutely. It just has to matter if it gets to a spot where, it's something where it's not hurting the team, because it just has been noticeable. I think Ohtani, and I believe that'll come through more times than he won't. It's definitely something that we'll keep an eye on. Just everybody keep an eye on. It's not something to be freaked out about. I still believe in the dude. He's not striking out like an unhealthy amount with runners on base. He's just expanding a bit. So once he kind of hones that in, it's something that we'll see those numbers start to change quite a bit.